the Trump administration has not made the promotion of human rights abroad one of its major issues, but with one notable exception, and that is the struggle for religious freedom. It's an issue that does unite some of the president's most fervent evangelical supporters with human rights activists who have been among his fiercest critics. And this week, the administration is holding a special conference on the topic of religious freedom. Well, let's go to our Washington correspondent, Shayna Estulin, who is at the State Department covering this event, and tell us about how this came about and what's going on there, Shayna.
Yeah, this is the second annual Ministerial to Advance Religious Freedom. It's a lot of words to say. It's basically this big conference here at the State Department to promote religious liberty around the world. And we're talking now to a senior State Department official who's very much part of that mission. That would be Special Envoy Elan Carr, who's with us now. Your mission is to combat anti-Semitism around the world. So, first of all, tell us what the goal is of this particular conference. What concrete steps could we see come out of it?
Well, first of all, there's a close relationship between anti-Semitism and religious freedom. They're different, but of course, where there is anti-Semitism, Jews are constricted and prevented from living as Jews. And so while the issues are different, they're closely interrelated, and that's why I have the great privilege during this very, very important conference, our second annual ministerial, that Secretary Pompeo, who's just been such a champion of the cause of religious freedom, second annual ministerial that he has hosted and organized. I have the great privilege of chairing a panel specifically on the issue of anti-Semitism. We're going to be discussing the anti-Semitism of Jew hatred and the anti-Semitism of restriction on Jewish practice. For example, the bans on Shchita and on Brit Milah that is now, Brit Milah hasn't been implemented anywhere. Yes. Shchita, kosher slaughter, which is banned now in Scandinavia and in Flanders and a few other places. And Brit Milah isn't banned, circumcision, but has been discussed, and one country almost banned it. And of course, this is of tremendous concern. As I said in a speech in Antwerp before the Conference of European Rabbis, not allowing Jews to circumcise their children or have kosher meat is tantamount to a forced expulsion of the Jewish community from that country. And so we're very concerned about it.
There was an anti-Semitism conference held yesterday at the Department of Justice. I wonder, is your portfolio, are you only focusing on far-left anti-Semitism or Islamist anti-Semitism, or is the focus also on white nationalist anti-Semitism?
Yes. So absolutely not focused only on one source or two sources. We are focused on all three. And as we say it as a matter of policy, and as I've said it over and over again, we don't rank Jew hatred. Jew hatred is Jew hatred, and it is despicable and vile, whether it comes from the ethnic supremacist far right, the Israel-hating far left, or radical Islam. And in fact, I spoke at the funeral of Lori Kay, Zichronah Livracha, who was murdered in Poway by a white nationalist and extremist. And what I was authorized to say when I spoke at that funeral, authorized by the White House, I represented there the entire administration. I said, we are at war with these people, these ethnic supremacists. They're evil. Because
the shooter in that case appeared to be connected to a white nationalist movement.
Yes, exactly. And I said, we're at war with these people. And not only are they anti-Semitic, but their values are fundamentally incompatible with American values. And by the way, that's really the history of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism focuses on Jews first, but the values of the anti-Semites are fundamentally incompatible with the values on which the United States was based. And that's why this fight is such an urgent fight and why we have to win.
You talk about the values upon which the United States is based, and one can't help but notice you're having this conference now at the State Department. The administration is holding to combat prejudice, but meanwhile, the president is being accused of sending out racist tweets against congresswomen of color. How do you square those two?
Well, I think the president has been a champion of not only American values, but there is nobody who's been stronger on the protection of the Jewish people, the fight against anti-Semitism, or the support for the State of Israel. No administration has been like this. We are seeing an administration committed in unprecedented fashion to those values, and that starts at the top with the President of the United States, who's been a champion of those issues. So has Vice President Pence. So is my boss, Secretary Pompeo, and National Security Advisor Bolton, and Jared Kushner, and David Friedman, and Jason Greenblatt, and the list goes on and on.